All right. Okay, let's get this thing going. Just a second. Okay, so what's going on? It so it's probably not muted now, but I cannot believe what happened. Um, I accidentally pressed the wrong button and it messed up my camera. So I'm gonna do something real quick. I mean, luckily I have a backup camera, but I think the problem is hold on a second. Actually, I don't know what the problem is exactly, but this keeps zooming in. Let me do something. Ah, here we go. I think I might have found it. Oh, there's two of me. Okay. Okay, I think I'm about to fix it. Oh yeah, Gundam. Okay. Wow, how annoying! But this is pretty neat. Oh my god, that's actually pretty neat. Bam, bam, we're back. So I accidentally pressed. It was dumb of me. I accidentally pressed a button that launches the camera I'm using in another app, and then it made it stop it. And I was like, "What do I do?" But let's get started because we've got a cool show. You know why? Just because there's so many people already in chat. Sup, Ultronymous. Good to see you. Jamkel X. Yeah, Rogue New Type. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, let's get started. Let me check something here. Let me click this. You know what? I listened to the stream yesterday after I streamed, and it sounded really odd to me. And I think that was another. There's some stuff going behind the scenes, cool stuff that I'm just not really talking about right now. And I think it's contributing to this messing up sometimes. I apologize, but anyway, um, this is Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. We've got some gaming news to talk about, some gaming stuff I've been getting into. In fact, let me actually start by just talking about something that came up recently. I was listening to this YouTube live stream podcast interview, and it was David Jaffe interviewing John Garvin that used to work for PlayStation. He worked on a bunch of games in the 90s, but the Siphon Filter franchise, Uncharted, Golden Abyss, Resistance on. So basically he was, making some of their, their main IP. And then and it's interesting how he explained this, because I guess the idea is that in Sony, and I think this makes sense, they try to push the hardware, especially more in the past, they would try to push the hardware. So when the Siphon Filter team was working on I think it was Siphon Filter 4 or 5. I think it was gonna be the first PS2. Was it? No, it wasn't gonna be the first PS2 Siphon Filter game. I think it was after Omega Strain, but he didn't work on that. So basically how it worked was the guy that was helping with the Siphon Filter, as in the main guy that's been behind it, even though they have teams, When he was making a new PS2 version, Sony came to him and said, "Hey, we've got the PSP coming. Let's make it on that." And I actually played that Dark Mirror, I think it was, and it was really, really good. And it's funny to see that it came from them specing it for PS2 and then making it work on PSP, which is pretty neat. But there was an interesting thing that that Sony was communicating to the team, and they were saying that when because they were trying to get an idea of people in their PSPs, right? Because PlayStation wanted to make a portable because Nintendo was making bank on portables, right? And we've got iPhones and stuff coming out, and that was popular, but cell phones in general. But Sony's analytics were saying the majority of people buying PSPs and playing them are just playing on the couch at home. And I feel like, and being that was what, almost 20 years ago, I guess. I forget when the PSP came out exactly. That almost mirrors kind of the use case nowadays for portables. Or for handhelds. It's like people like handhelds just so they can play a game wherever in the house, sharing the screen, in the living room. It's not about going out somewhere. I mean, because really, like, I play a lot of handhelds, a lot of portables. If the family and I are going to go out to eat, I'm not going to bring my portable with me. If I'm going to, like a friend's house or, like a family member to hang out or do something, I'm not going to bring a portable with me. Now, if it's something where it's more of going to be a hangout for a long period of time and it's maybe I'm more of there formally and not there for, really to do anything, I might bring a portable around, but sometimes I won't play it that much. There's a little bit of the respect of the people around me versus what I am doing at the moment. Where was another place I tried to bring it recently? Oh yeah, a trip, going on a trip, airplane. So those are the things that make sense. But it is actually interesting to hear that even in the beginning days of Sony trying to wrap their head around the use case for PSP, people just do it somewhere at home. That's why I think that PlayStation Portal released in is what it is. The idea is that you're in your network. And I get it. I think it makes a lot of sense. And so this is the other thing. A lot of times when you become a reviewer of something, you tend to look at things sort of, what's the word, arbitrarily, like, oh, look at the size of this. This is a good pocketed size. It's like, yeah, okay, that's a good size. But so let me give you an example. Right now, a lot of the retro handheld YouTubers, you can get really popular really fast if you decide to dive down that rabbit hole. For me, I would get bored of it. I'm not going to, hey, maybe I've bought a lot of handhelds. I'm not going to buy them all. I probably bought all the ones I'm going to get for now because they function for the use cases I need them. But a lot of these retro handheld YouTubers who are big also review telescoping or cell phone controls. And the reason I wanted to bring these is what happens is they'll review them, right? And in my opinion, I'll start with this. This is the best you can get for multiple reasons. And I do know that could be, subjective. But objectively, if you were going to sit down and play a video game on your console, it's like, would you use this or would you use this, right? This is like a little Razer Kishi. They have a new Ultra that's bigger. But it's like, this, oh, that looks good for if I needed to take my cell phone on the go. That doesn't make sense if I'm just sitting in my house or even if you're on a trip, because you could throw this in your bag. So I'll see reviewers reviewing these and say, like, for instance, well, this is better because it's more portable and pocketable. And while I'll say, yeah, it might be more portable and pocketable, that doesn't mean it functions in a better way than this being portable and pocketable. When I went on my trip, I was able to just throw this in my bag. If I was out with the wife or something, I could say, hey, can you put this in your purse? And it would fit. And I guess what I'm getting at is I think it's very easy for people to think, oh, no, it's best to go this way. But I think this style gamepad is going to phase out. This style, and I'm saying this because I want more like this. I want these companies that are coming out with these portable, I don't know what to call them, because They're not necessarily cell phone controllers because I use this like on a tablet. So maybe they call them portable controllers. I don't know. I think there's another name you can make for these. But anyway, my point is I think these need to phase out. I think, yeah, sure, you can make one or two of these, for maybe smaller hands or whatever. But I wish all the R&D would go into these, perfecting this. So Scuff just came out with one, but it's a little smaller. Razer Kishi Ultra, it's a new one. It's a little smaller, but I do think that this is just a better grip, and I enjoy it so much more. Anyway, the whole point of this is the data shows that people are not needing to be in situations where they need to fit this in a pocket. If that does come up, it's very rare, and sure, then grab this. But most of the situations that people are using these phone, tablet controllers are, again, sitting at home. They're in bed. They're on the couch with family while they can, play some games while people might be on the TV. And I've noticed I do that. I tend to pick that up anecdotally from like other podcasts and shows and from the original PlayStation, portable, the team at Sony. Their data says that people just stay on the couch. And I think that's something important for these companies to come up with, or to think about as they're coming up with controllers. Let's start getting less of these non-grip ones that are just like thin and more of these, because the size difference is negligible depending on what you're doing. Anyway, that's my little rant, and it's not like I'm mad at anyone, but I guess what I'm saying is I'll see reviews, and these retro game reviewers will try to say that this form factor gives this a higher rating than this form factor. And I think in the grand scheme of things, that's actually not the case. I don't know. What do you guys think? That could just be me. I get excited easily. But let's see. Oh, we've got Mr. Puzzles. I am Mr. Puzzles, the director of Puzzle Vision TV. I'm gonna have to check that out. Ultronymous. I know that was the case for me. As much as I like the idea of portable console, I'd also rather not risk losing it on a bus or getting jacked at work. Well, so that is another good point, because there is then that risk if you are taking that expensive device with you. But you know what? Just seeing how popular that is in general, and Nintendo started it with a Game Boy, I guess, even though that is a risk, the majority of people will attempt that risk. I don't know. All right, let's jump into what I've been playing. I barely played anything yesterday. Is that true? Or is there something I played that could not be tracked? Take that risk. Thank you. So I just played a little bit of Castlevania Portrait of Ruin yesterday. I think I was sitting on the couch. My son was watching a movie. And again, here's another example. I get off work. I don't want to sit in my office. My son wanted to watch the movie Black Friday with Bruce Campbell. It's like a cheesy horror movie. I guess he got into Bruce Campbell. Not that I was pushing it, but I think he gets it. Bruce Campbell, Anyway, but it was cool. I was just sitting on the couch then playing. Again, Richter mode. I just beat the sisters, if you're familiar with that plot line. And so I'm now at the final 4.5 paintings, I guess 0.5, because one's really just a boss room. But it's just really cool in that Richter mode because you can like level up Richter. Whereas like in Symphony of the Night, you can't. But in Symphony of the Night, I think I was saying before, you can use that holy water power to like kill bosses instantly. So I guess it's a give and take. Let's see. I want to say there was something else that I played yesterday, and I was thinking to myself, oh, this won't be tracked, so I'll have to remember to talk about it. But I don't even remember what it was. It must have not been a big deal. Okay, I think it's coming to me. I was playing, that's right. I was actually playing something on the tablet here. Oh, it's shut off. So it's, and this is that other thing I was talking about with this. Like, if you play a game, it might not track it because you don't have the right ROM. I made a video about that. So there's a video about that I put up Sunday where I was setting up retro achievements on this RG Cube, and I explained how with some games they might not track. So yeah, there's a few games. Oh, I know what I was doing because I'm in this Batman mode, right? That happens to me sometimes. And I was thinking about how yesterday, like, okay, I saw Batman 89 in the theaters, and I was doing the math, and it's like I was 5 when I saw that in theaters. That seems really young, but I think that made an impression on me. But anyway, so I was checking out some of the Genesis games that I played back then, and they actually were not bad. I was actually really impressed. But that was about it. Anyway, so from launching those games on the emulator, it will say, like, signed in. This game is not detected. So that would be then when I go find the right ROM, put it in my list. I think this is a way for me to, over time, curate the proper lists that are the it's nice to know that there's a way to find what the proper ROM is. It's kind of interesting. Okay. Just throw the good old divine water and bleach on them. Yep. That's the thing with the Castlevania. The holy water definitely helps. Okay. So yeah, I think that's about it with what I was planning getting into, what I wanted to rant on. But there's some other news that I haven't read yet that I want to look at right now, and we'll look at it together. Xbox Game Pass is getting more expensive as our day one games for subscribers. Interesting. So, okay, Xbox Game Pass is getting a price hike across all tiers and platforms, and day one AAA releases are also getting more expensive. In addition, Xbox Game Pass will be temporarily unavailable on consoles soon, returning later in September with the new Xbox Game Pass standard. Pre-existing subscribers will not be affected. I think their whole Game Pass thing got confusing, but I know why it was confusing. It's because there's that separate kind of Game Pass on PC where not all games on console are on PC. So it's almost like those are separate markets, but it's like I know they don't want them to be treated as such, but they kind of have to. Here are all the major changes. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is getting its price raised to $19.99 a month, and PC Game Pass is getting its price hiked up to $11.99. The annual subscription for Xbox Pass Core is being increased, rising up to $74.99. As for this new tier of Game Pass coming to consoles in September, it'll cost $14.99. However, perhaps more importantly, it will not be receiving day one game releases as part of the sub. It will include Xbox Live Gold, which provides access to online services, but not Xbox Cloud Gaming. Wow, it's getting confusing. If you're on console and still want those day one releases, you'll have to upgrade up to the Game Pass Ultimate tier. What's also interesting is that PC Game Pass will retain its access to day one releases, despite its new price being $8 less than the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate price. The reason being remains uncertain, but one massive factor might be competition on that platform. PC has Steam. See, I think this is where I'm talking about PC being that other market. The other thing, too, is it's very interesting that cloud gaming is not going to be on the I guess this, let's see, the $14.99 tier. Maybe that does make sense too, because I wonder if cloud gaming is one of those things where really not everyone can make use of it. Depending on, I'm lucky I haven't had to run into any internet issues like in the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years. I don't know, where like I've always had pretty good internet, but I live right next to a big international airport. I get why the infrastructure here would be pretty good, but I bet there's just people that they don't want to pay for something where it's paying for a service that they can't utilize. So I can understand that. But again, I think this is a very confusing time because that's also separate markets. So Microsoft is trying really hard to market their gaming ecosystem to all when there are segregated markets of primarily PC or non-streamable. It's or people that don't play online. It's like for me, I ended up downgrading my PlayStation service down to just the multiplayer one. And I'm thinking I haven't played Gundam Battle Operation 2, the main one, online in a while. Do I really need that? It's very interesting to look at these things, and then it reminds me of the streaming services of movies and TV, HBO Max, Peacock, Paramount, how they raise prices and then they have to do mergers because they don't know, the next step. It'll be very interesting. I think what we could see is something that's kind of been already going on, how like EA Access is integrated into Xbox Game Pass. To be honest, I don't know if it's every tier. I forget that. But also Ubisoft has their own service, which I think is, I was talking about Ubisoft the other day. Like, I feel like they're an underdog in a way. But it's like they have a lot of great games, and I'm really excited about the new Star Wars game. But anyway, they could integrate that more. I know due to laws about this stuff I think it's in the UK or in Europe. I don't know where exactly, but apparently Game Pass will have Ubisoft services, or Ubisoft can include Game Pass services or cloud gaming, something like that. Anyway, I'm really just saying all this because when you see these companies make these changes really often, in terms of not just pricing, but what it includes, it's sort of like, okay, so what is the end goal going to be? Because you can't just keep increasing, but obviously you need to. There's going to be a bigger change here. I wonder if that's going to be some sort of ad-supported model. I don't know how that would work exactly. Like if it's a single-player game, maybe they start inserting ads after you beat a level. If it's a multiplayer game, maybe there's ads between matches. I'm not crazy about that, but if it's a free-to-play game and this allows the publisher maybe to earn more income to do more with a game, I'm down. But we'll just have to see, and the market will speak to it. I think the market will speak to it, just like the market has slowly spoken to microtransactions and mobile gaming. Like, I really feel like there's been this, well, okay, we still have to make classic core games among the broader marketed mobile microtransaction stuff. Anyway, that's a lot of stuff. Mr. Puzzles, I am the character of SMG4 channel. Well, that's really cool, Mr. Puzzles. Okay, so let's go. Man, this time has creeped up. I think it's because earlier I had that weird technical difficulty where you know what? And that's, on your taskbar, you have apps. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. They're in the dumbest spot. They're in the bottom middle. And I don't know how many times in my life I accidentally launch Adobe and then have to wait for it to load. We need to move everything back to the left like it was before. Windows 11, I'm going to mess around with that. I need to take a stand and stop accidentally launching apps. Okay, anyway, I'm just wasting time talking. So Prime deals coming up. Curious if there's anything I would jump on, because this is like the best time to buy. Oh my God. This is the best time to buy a Switch game, because Switch games are always super expensive. So interesting. Oh, wait, but this has already been out. Okay. Although this is still a good price if you haven't got this yet, because I know they're re-releasing the other Donkey Kong Country. Is it Returns? And it's like a $60 price, and people are like, really? But I don't know. It could be worth it. So let's look. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Wow, $35. I think I bought that on sale, though. Return to Dreamland is good. But anything else in here? Advance Wars 1 and 2, like, I was hyped for that, but everyone that spoke on playing it was like, might as well just play the old ones. It's like, oh. It's hard. It's like $60 for 2 Game Boy Advance games, So 47 is a little easier, but still. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Tears of the Kingdom, $65. Oh, that's not a big deal. But Breath of the Wild being 30 is pretty cool. Yoshi's Crafted World 35. I think that is worth it for 35. Trying to think if there's anything else. Pikmin 4 being 35 seems pretty good because that doesn't go on sale too often. Well, Super Mario Party with Joy-Con bundle. Now that for 69, that could be worth it. Okay, well, I think that's pretty cool because when it comes to Switch, I mean, it really gets sales, but when it comes to PS5, it's almost like hit or miss. It's like nothing is really standing out. There's sales more often. Tekken 8, but see, Tekken 8 was just on sale a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I'll wait. And then yeah, Xbox also. Okay, so there's that Ninja Turtles arcade Wrath of the Mutants that's supposed to be bad, but I still might just like it and want to play it anyway. Even 24 seems like a lot. Okay, so that's a pretty cool deal. Okay, so let's do something else because I'll have to start work soon. Modern Warfare 3 is set to come to Xbox Game Pass this month. Wow, that's crazy. I just uninstalled it because I was like, I'm probably not going to play this again until the next one. But that's cool that it's on Game Pass. That means family can play. You have multiple Xboxes, set one as the home Xbox, multiple people can play. Pocket Pair forms Palworld Entertainment with Sony Music and Aniplex to expand IP. Interesting. So Xbox got the exclusive for Palworld to be on Game Pass, but Sony got the music, and Aniplex, I think, has to do with their anime design system or their anime system. So Microsoft increasing, yeah, we read all that. I think that was the main news of the day, wasn't it? Arc System Works is working on a new 3D Double Dragon. Okay, very cool, because Arc System Works published that last Double Dragon Gaiden that was excellent. It's 2D, but 3D, unless it's 3D in the sense of like Guilty Gear Strive being 3D. I'm going to see real quick if there's any more information on it. If it just happens to say like baby butt right in the picture, right? Let's see. Okay. Oh, Arc System Works acquired, yeah, the IP 2015, later released Double Dragon 4. I don't think I did play it. Okay. So yeah, not any other information on that, but that is actually cool news. Like for me, that's like news where I'm like, oh, okay. So let's see how that goes. Yeah, I think that's really about it. I think the main news for today happens to be about well, in my opinion, the Game Pass changes, and then Sony getting some exclusive Palworld rights. Yeah, I don't know. Not that this is what's happening, but there's so many opportunities for like Microsoft and Sony to work together, and Nintendo, and slowly they are. And I hope that is really the future. It's like, there's all of these. It's kind of like where everyone, if you're in the Android ecosystem, everyone could have a different Android phone, but still have the same Android functions and apps and stuff. Like, I'm hoping to see that for gaming. So we'll see. Okay. Let's see. Mr. Puzzles, my favorite game is Monster Hunter Stories 2. Okay, cool. I have not played that, and I might need to. Let's see. Yeah, Jamkel X, good info. I don't like the movie or cartoon. It'll probably be fine. Okay, well, it is that time, guys. I have to jump. This was a lot of fun. Sorry for that little beginning issue, but then it made me think I can move my icons on the taskbar so it doesn't trouble me anymore in the future. If you want, you can go watch the SMG4 video. Well, thank you, Mr. Puzzles. I might do that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for everything. Have a good rest of the day, and we will talk tomorrow.